Oh man, I thought I was videotaping that whole time and I wasn't. I just drew this egg and you guys kind of missed it because I wasn't videotaping. This is going to be the first of many mistakes though, I should tell you. Okay, so I'm going to draw that guy again. Here we go again, okay? All right, anyway, so it's going to be really good this time, I bet. It was really good last time. I'm kind of angry about that. Can you guys see the egg that I'm drawing? Okay, great. So draw yourselves an egg real quick. Whenever I make a mistake and have to do a video twice, you better believe it's going to be short and sweet, okay? All right, anyway, so there's my egg. Shadow shape goes pretty much right through the middle. Reflected light is kind of down in this zone. You see how it's a little bit lighter there? Cast shadow goes out to the right. When I'm drawing my cast shadow shape, it's like I'm going to draw an egg that's just a longer, skinnier version of an egg. I'm drawing right over the bottom of my egg. I want you to do the same. Overlap the bottom of your egg when you're drawing this shape out, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just throw in my dark area of that shadow shape. It's kind of like right towards the top is darkest. I'm going to darken the outline on the right side. My light source in this picture is coming from the left, so that's why it'll obviously be darker on the right, okay? Now the key to making a shadow look like a shadow is when it goes from dark to light, it needs to go gradually. So as I go down here, I'm going to be fading out lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, okay? At the bottom, these are pretty light grays right here. There's a pretty sharp reflected light there, so it's going to be pretty light at the bottom, okay? Along this edge, it's going to be soft and fuzzy. Remember, your shadows should be soft and fuzzy on the edges, okay? There's kind of like a little dip on the top of the egg. I'm going to erase that in. Anything you see, please draw it. Don't take out details as you go to make things more simple. The more detail you capture, the more realistic your drawings will look, and that's what we're going for here is realism, okay? All right, so I'm fading down, soft and fuzzy on the edges, starting to look like a shadow. And it decently looks like a shadow at this point, but the thing is that when you go to throw in this cast shadow on the bottom, then things are really gonna pop. Magic is really gonna happen, okay? You know what, let me just fade out a little bit more into these grays here. I think I could do a better job of fading when I look at the camera. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to throw in a cast shadow. Right underneath here is the darkest area in the whole drawing. When you look at these on the computer, when you look at these photographs I took of the egg, you're going to see a little bit more detail, some subtle reflected lights that maybe you can't see like in this one where I printed off the image. So I would kind of recommend looking at them on the computer screen. I think you can see more detail that way as opposed to printing them off. You don't really need to print these guys off. Also, it's kind of a waste of ink, so if you can save your parents on some printing ink, I think they would thank you. I think they would thank you. That's kind of like a Dr. Seuss line. I'm going crazy, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, moving on. So anyway, this is a dark area, and it fades out into the lighter area. So as this cast shadow moves over to the right, it gets lighter. It's soft and fuzzy on these edges, not very sharp and dark on the edges, okay? All right. If you want to kind of clean up your highlight side, take away some extra lines, keep that line looking kind of like soft and hazy. A lot of light over there. All right, so there's my second example of the egg, or there's the better one that I drew earlier. Okay, so draw 4 of these. Don't draw 2 from the same angle like I did. Let's pick 4 different pictures. Draw 4 eggs. Do all their shadows, and 4 of them on the same side of the paper so that when you take your picture and submit it to me, they're all in one picture, okay? All right, good luck. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry, I've had some confusing video hiccups happening here. So I'm going to show you guys how to blend using a paper towel and a blending tortillon, okay? So let me just zoom in here. Okay, if you don't like the look of those graphite lines in there, you can use the paper towel to sort of smooth out those lines. On a very small shape like this, you can see it's creating kind of a haze on that side. Sometimes I like the haze, sometimes I don't. So if you want to get rid of it, you can erase it, obviously. And then also I'm going to soften here. If you're doing this method, be careful not to over blend because you can actually get rid of too much detail, okay? Then I'm going to come back in. I'm going to erase any lines and shadows I don't want. Okay, there we go. So that's one way to blend. You can also use a blending tortillon. A blending tortillon, I'm going to move down to this egg down here, guys, is normally just used for very small areas. So like let's say I wanted to create like a really soft shadow right in this area, or I wanted to blend it together, but my finger and the paper towel were just like making a mess of things. They were too large. You could go in with a tortillon to do that. Blending things like whiskers or shoelaces or anytime you have really, really small detail,
That's what this is good for. And on your projects, when you guys start shading, you know, a very detailed object, and by the way, if you don't know what we're doing on this project, you're gonna find an object and take a photo of it and draw it, basically. You're gonna have to put a light source on it, kind of like I'm doing here. See, right now I'm using like a little lamp. So anyway, I'll explain that more in the future, just so you know. If you don't have a blending tortillon, which probably a lot of you at home do not have, I don't know, if some of you have like a drawing kit or that, it might actually come with these in there, and maybe you didn't really know what they were even used for if you have one. But if you don't have one of these guys, what you can do is you can just roll up a piece of paper. So I just started like rolling from the corner, and I'm kind of rolling this paper up like a cone. You can put a colored pencil or a pencil inside there so it's a little bit harder. And then you can kind of use this homemade blending tortillon also to blend. It kind of does the same thing. It doesn't work as well as the tortillon though, because I'm using the side of the paper. And on the tortillon here, we're kind of using like, if you look really closely, it's paper that's just twisted up on itself. So you're kind of using like the edge of the paper. So if you don't have a blending tortillon, you might want to just go with the finger method and then just erase if you have excess. Let me zoom out here a little bit. All right, so remember 4 eggs, 1 page, and good luck.